A quick note before we get into the episode. Oversharing is a podcast for entertainment purposes only. It is not a medical podcast and does not constitute medical or psychological advice. Always seek the advice of your physician or mental health professional. Let's do intentions.
Hi, Jordana and Dr. Naomi. Thanks for all you do and for sharing your lives. I'm genuinely encouraged weekly by you both. All right, that feels good. Jumping right in, I have a situation that makes me feel equal parts ridiculous and bothered. I'm a very outgoing and social person, love my friends and family, and genuinely want to stay connected to them. However, when it comes to phone calls, even catch-up calls with people I care about, I feel almost paralyzed by how much I don't want to. Interestingly, my mom has this exact issue, and we can joke about our problem lightheartedly. But I think this is actually some form of avoidance or subconscious anxiety I should address. For example, I have two best friends who have moved to different states than me and who are both really good about reaching out. While I miss them and want to maintain these important relationships, I often dread getting on the phone. I even feel this way when I'm technically available. It's not that I'm too drained to socialize. I can happily meet friends for dinner or go do something fun with my boyfriend that same day. But something about a phone conversation feels debilitating. I even have a catch up with one of my friends planned after work today, and as much as I love her, I just don't want to follow through with it. I admit that I feel guilty for this. The longer I avoid calling, the more I feel I owe some meaningful apology or explanation, which probably makes me avoid it more. Sometimes even texting feels hard because I feel bad I haven't called. And there really is no explanation other than I don't like talking on the phone or I'm really busy, both of which fall flat in the context of a meaningful relationship. Have you heard of this before? Should I be explaining this or apologizing to my friends since I'm so close to them? And how did I become someone who loves my people but avoids calling them as if it's something that compromises my well-being? I would love an intention to feel more at ease approaching phone conversations. Maybe a little tough love accountability to just pick up the phone. And any advice if you have it. Thanks, a full of phone dread Betch.
I feel a little like conflicted on this one because on the one hand, I'm like, yeah, there's some social anxiety or something involving like a phone call that you don't like. But she does say she likes in-person meetups. So on the other hand, I'm kind of like, I do have friends that don't like to speak on the phone. They prefer texting. I don't really like texting that much. I don't like having like a meaningful conversation via text personally. But I do have friends who prefer that mode of communication. And like most of them haven't even explicitly said it, but I can kind of tell just based on the way they interact. And I'm kind of like, that's okay. That's not someone I'm going to call on my walk or on my way to work.
I would love this person to come in for a Calm the Fuck Down subscription episode because part of me, I really want to know, there's so many thoughts I have. I have actually had patients like this. This is not the first time I've heard this, which is why I'm very
I have friends
curious.
like this, so I feel like it is a thing. Yeah.
It is a thing. And there's so many different reasons why this could be. I've had people who some of it is about like ego protection, almost like over the phone, it doesn't feel as intimate. So it almost feels like it has to be a highlights reel, like a catch up has to be almost like a comparison thing. Like you have to.
You're saying it has to be more that way.
It has to be more of, because it's less intimate. So it's almost like, okay, I have 45 minutes to tell you all the great things that I'm doing. Like it almost feels like I'm just saying what I've heard from people. Like it feels like I have to tell you like a highlight reel. It almost feels like mentally taxing in some way.
That's how I feel about texting, is more of like a highlight reel. Like, oh, how's everything going? And like not going to get into it via text.
If it's a 45, like a catch-up call, right? You're like, kind of like, here's my 45 minutes to tell you everything that I guess. And then if you avoid it, this is the other thing that I see. The more you avoid it, now it's like, now I have a month to catch you up on, or 3 months to catch you up on, or depending on how long you avoid it, it could be like 6 months to catch you up on And then it almost feels like maybe now I'm like confronting the fact that we've grown distant in this call. Like now we're kind of, oh my God, I didn't even tell you that like my cat died or whatever. And now it's like, oh my God, are we even friends? Like I have so much to tell. Like it, I think sometimes the avoidance then creates more avoidance, if you follow what I'm saying.
Whereas if you had more frequent ones, there would be less so. I mean, here's what it gives. I sometimes have anxiety about phone calls, not like this person, but sometimes I'll see a call. And even if I'm free, I'm kind of like, I don't know if I want to do this because like, I don't know if I want to commit the time. Like there's no end with a text. You can like text and then go about your day. Like with a phone call, I think there's like maybe also another fear that there's no end to it, or it'll be like awkward to end, or that it's going to go on indefinitely. And like there are certain people that I don't like phone calls with because I feel like that happens, or I won't be able to leave when I want to leave. I think that's a big fear people have about like social interactions.
I just think I could go on and on about how many there. So one of them might be, I don't know how long this is going to last. And also if it's like kind of catching you off guard, like I think everything now is so scheduled. Not to age myself, but we were talking about like 45-minute long home videos. But there was also, it used to be a thing where like the phone would ring and you didn't know who it was until you picked it up.
Right. So it could be someone you didn't want to talk to.
And then you just picked, I mean, this was a really long, and then there was like caller ID was like this cool new thing where you could like see who it was before you answered it. But like, it was like the idea of being caught off guard by a phone call and like just having to talk to, now it's like every minute of your day is kind of like, you know exactly what's going to happen before it happens. So the idea of like, oh, I didn't really plan to talk to this person and now they're calling and I kind of like micromanage my day. And in this minute, I plan to like, I don't know, whatever it was, like watch my show or like squeeze in this little bit of administrative work or like,
right
now I'm talking to this person. Maybe that's part of the anxiety.
Well, she says, I have a catch up with one of my friends planned for after work today. So she has like these scheduled
and she still doesn't want to do it. So yeah, I think some of this can be maybe even like, I think there might be some like lack of, again, I'm going to say lack of like an intimacy or like something she's not being genuine about is my hunch. But again, I don't know. Like, in person, it feels like I can say this real thing that's really happening, but somehow on a phone call, it doesn't feel. I have friends like that too, where like when we're in person, we can really talk, but on the phone, it's almost like keep it a little light.
I mean, I get that though too. I feel like part of me thinks like, okay, if she's a person who just like it's kind of like with what I was saying in the subscription episode, it's like, should I just lean into who I am and just be like, I'd rather meet up, or even if her friends live in different states, let's plan a weekend girls trip and we can like really get into it that way. Like I do think that it's okay to
this isn't my favorite way of
communicating. Right. I prefer this kind of communication. And like, here's the thing. The tough part is if you have a friend who lives in a different state who's like, I don't really think I can do a trip, or I prefer to just like keep in touch in this way. Then it becomes like, the friendship can suffer, but that's sort of like, I think the magic of a friendship is like, you kind of have to be in the same place on some things.
Right. And maybe a video call could be like a compromise too. Maybe there is something about like seeing someone's facial expression. But here's the bottom line is what I think and what she's asking for in some ways. I think she's asking for a push. I think she needs to figure out what it is. We're speculating all over the place. The only way I think she's going to know is to do it. And I think she wants to push herself to do it. Push yourself to do it and then kind of be curious in the moment of what it is that's going on for you. Are you being genuine about what's really on your mind? I think the thing that drives a lot of people crazy in a lot of relationships is like the small talk is boring, or like the highlight reel stuff is boring, or like having to fill someone in on something that happened 3 weeks ago that's not even on your mind anymore is like annoying, right? Like I have to tell you about this thing that happened that's not even an issue when I'm like stressed out about some other thing. Like that's annoying. So just getting on the call, having the call, and then being curious, like present in the moment, watching your body reacting to the conversation, watching your mind being like very mindfully present on that call about what feels uncomfortable here. Like, what is going on with me on this phone call? We can speculate all day, but the avoidance is creating the disconnection. And I think you need to do it and be very like curious and reflective while you're doing it about what is bugging me about this, so that you can either say, is this just I don't like phone calls? Is there something that I'm doing here? Is there a lack of intimacy? Is it the topics that we're talking about? I think you need to do it, but do it more mindfully, because there's something that's making you feel icky in some way, or blocked, or like you're talking about something you don't really want to be talking about, or something. The only way to figure out what that is to do it and then pay
See
attention.
what comes up.
Yeah.
So do you have an intention for her for like even getting into it?
Yeah. So the intention that I wrote is: avoidance is the fuel of disconnection. Introspection is the cure. I can handle this call with curiosity. So I think a big part of this is like avoidance is fueling the disconnection. The longer you avoid it, the more this grows into this thing where someone's like, oh, you haven't called in a while. Or like, that part sucks too, where you're getting like a little bit of like,
oh, guilt, or like
that makes you then definitely want to avoid it more. So like the avoidance makes it grow bigger. Then you don't get to figure out what's wrong, why you're avoiding it, because you're avoiding it. And if you can introspect, you can figure out what it is. So that can kind of help cure that disconnection, and you can handle it. It's usually worse. We always say it's like the anticipation is worse than the thing.
I feel that way about therapy sometimes, where I'm like, I don't really know if I want to like have this call, get into it, like go there. But then once you're there, showing up is like the hardest part.
This is much more relatable than I think you realize. And it's really it's such a tiny part of your life. Like, not avoiding this call thing doesn't seem like a big thing. Like, it's the tiniest problem to have, but I think it is a symptom of something bigger, that you're avoiding something. What is it? And can you be curious with yourself enough to figure out what you're avoiding? Maybe a lack of intimacy, or a topic that feels triggering in some way, or something.
And if you want to come on here, as long as you don't cancel the call, we can get into it together.
That would be really funny if she like booked it and then she just was like, yeah,
I can't do the call.
Make it.
Yeah, that's funny. Let's do some triggers. Dear Jordana and Dr. Naomi, I'm such a fan of you both. Congratulations on your beautiful girls, Jordana. I'd love to read your memoir one day. Oh, love it.
You'd love to write it first.
I recently had a boudoir photo shoot. I have 4 kids and we're about to start trying for baby number 5. Wow. I worked hard to get into the best shape of my life this year, and I thought it would be fun for me and my husband to have some tasteful photos of me at this stage. I typically don't spend a lot of time on my hair and makeup, just a little mascara and tinted lip balm most days, or max 20 minutes for hair and makeup when I'm dressing up. I mentioned this in the questionnaire I filled out before the photo shoot. The photographer hired a hair and makeup artist for the shoot. This woman would not stop talking about what a shame it was that I don't usually wear makeup. It's such a shame. You could look so much better if you wore makeup. You could be a baddie. Too bad. There's so much you could do with your bone structure if you just wear more makeup. I told her I prefer to be more natural, and she just kept going. I brought in the photos from my pre-wedding boudoir shoot from 15 years ago, and her only comment was, well, at least your brows are better now.
Oh.
She also laughed at the shoes I brought. This was supposed to be an empowering, luxurious experience, not a chance for a stranger to nag on me for my personal style. She took 2.5 hours to do my hair and makeup. Do you think I have that kind of time with 4 small children? How triggering is this? Best, a Betch who is loved just how I am.
I definitely think this is triggering. I just think this is her whole life and job and identity. Like, her ego meets your ego was just a clash. Like,
yes.
Her whole identity is like, I take people and make them better with all these tricks and makeup and things.
I'm sure you've met people where like, if only you had therapy, you would be like, if you just gave me like a few months with you,
Right.
I could change this whole thing around. Like, I'm sure like that is her skill set. So like, I always say this with like an insult or something that bothers you the wrong way, like consider the source.
Yes.
If everyone was happy with the way they looked, she would be out of business.
Yes, exactly. So, yes, consider the source. She would have no skill set. She would have no income. If people just embraced their natural, if you went in and her job was just to empower you to feel beautiful as you are, she wouldn't need to be there. So she blocked out 2.5 hours of her day, not to just boost you up and tell you how naturally beautiful you were for 2.5 hours. So I get that it's triggering. Her laughing at your shoes is annoying. I've been there. I don't have like the best fashion taste. I have definitely had my shoes laughed at. So I can relate to that. But yeah, it does suck. You want to feel good before you're going to do something kind of vulnerable like that, like be in sexy outfits and try to look sexy. So I could see why it's extra annoying going into a photo shoot like that, not to feel beautiful and empowered.
Right. I think if she changed the way she looked at this, like, would it be worse if she was like, there's nothing I can do here? You're too far gone. Like,
right.
Like, okay, you think I'd look so much better with, but like, let's see what you can do. In some ways, it's complimentary. Like, she's like, you're already so naturally beautiful. Like, imagine if we like pump this up a notch.
And that's why I say it's like a bit of a battle of the egos, because you have a sense of pride in your own natural beauty, and she has a sense of pride in like her ability to use makeup to make people feel beautiful. Like, a makeup artist, that what excites them in their body, what gives them that like feeling of expansiveness in their chest, is taking someone who doesn't already feel beautiful, and then that look in their eyes when they then feel beautiful because of what she did. That's what gives her joy. And for you, you feel beautiful and empowered and just feeling beautiful just the way you are. So there was just a
right.
Clash.
She has a passion for makeup. That's why she does that. So she probably thinks everyone could look so much better if they wore makeup. So yeah, I could see why you're like in this, you know, you're 4 kids in, you're feeling like pretty good about yourself. This isn't like the vibe that you're looking for this like sexy shoot. I think what she's saying is not like wrong, but it sounds like the way she said it is weird. Like, you could be a baddie too bad. It's like, if she was like, I'm going to make you look like so unbelievable, you're like not even you're gonna be like so happy you came here. Like, there's ways to say this that are less like negging her.
Totally. And the at least your eyebrows are better. That was annoying. Yeah, the way she was talking about it was rude. But I always feel this whenever I get my makeup done. I'm always like, I wish there was half as much makeup on my face. When it's over, I just always feel like it's too much. But it's kind of like, that's if they're into makeup, so they think more is better. You know,
I agree. And then it usually does better for like a photo shoot or something where, like, I always think I'm wearing a lot of makeup on these recordings, but then I look at myself on a video and I'm like, it doesn't even look like I'm wearing any makeup. I think you need more to make a difference in like a photo shoot or a video recording or something than just you going about your day. So I wouldn't take it personally. Clearly there's like some sort of anxiety she has about like her beauty or how much effort she puts into her daily look, which I think mascara and some tinted lip gloss is like the way to go day to day. That's my vibe. So the commentary, I would say like the way it was phrased was like a 4, and in considering the source, it's like a little annoying, but
I would agree. I don't love it. I definitely don't think it's the most offensive thing I've ever heard. And I'm going to rate it lower because you do feel great already. Like you said, I worked hard. I feel good. I look good. I know you wanted to be empowered before this shoot. I hear you. And maybe you can give some feedback to the photographer or the company that you hired that's like, hey, it would be great to just like have someone that just made me feel, had like a empowering vibe before I'm going to go in there and put on lingerie and try to be like a sexy beast.
And again, I think it'd be worse if she was like, this makeup isn't going to help you.
Right. Totally. Yeah.
She has pride in her job. Fine.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do another one.
Hi, Jordana and Dr. Naomi. Recent listener, subscriber here. Love all that you do. Thank you for keeping me entertained during mom chores. Here's my triggered. I'm not sure if this needs all the context I'm about to give, but here we go. So I have this friend, let's call her Kayla. Kayla and I went to high school together 15-ish years ago and never really got along, but to this day, neither of us can even remember why. Anyway, I went out of state for college and moved back home in my late 20s. When I moved back, Kayla had begun dating someone in my family's friend circle, as did a coworker of mine that I became best friends with. Let's call her Courtney. At this time, I also had a situationship with a guy who was friends with these girls' boyfriends. All of this to say that Kayla and I ended up forming an unlikely friendship. We are not best friends by any means, but we do keep up consistently through text and would hang out occasionally one-on-one, but more often with the friend group and my family. I was at her wedding and bachelorette, only one of two there that was not in the wedding party. I helped throw her baby shower this winter. LOL, I know some of her darkest secrets. I would consider us good friends. So here's the baby name issue. I have two children, a girl 5 and a boy 18 months. Let's pretend my son's name is Jordan. Kayla gets pregnant and finds out she's having a girl. How excited we all are for her and her husband. They decided to keep the name they picked to themselves, as many people do these days. However, she did hint that it started with a J, and it was the only name they could agree on. Fast forward, she has her baby girl, and I'm dying to know the name. Respecting the newborn bubble, I FaceTime my bestie, Courtney, who is now Kayla's sister-in-law. I say, oh my God, do you know the name? To which Courtney replies apprehensively, you sure you want to know? And in my mind, I'm like, well, that's a weird thing to say, but obviously answer yes, tell me. Jordy, she says. I replied with a delayed, oh, with a wince and a slight eye twitch on my face. LOL. Not in a million years did I see this coming. Like for real, this is the only name you could come up with? I'm triggered for sure, but like how annoyed can you really be when it's someone's happiest time in their life and you consider them a close friend? I will note that I don't typically use this nickname for my son, but other family members do, and it has slipped out of my mouth from time to time. It would be one thing if we were just old acquaintance friends that don't really keep up, or we lived in different cities and never saw one another, but that's not the case. We share the same friends, spends her freaking summer holidays with my family. We will be shouting essentially the same name at the 4th of July camping. LOL. Another thing that irks me is that throughout her pregnancy, we would text often and chat all things pregnancy, postpartum, and baby-related things. I'm notorious for seeing a text, forgetting about it, and finally responding days later. I'm a stay-at-home mom, so my bandwidth for lengthy texts is limited. A few times this happened, I would apologize for the delay, and she would always throw in some version of, you never have to explain to me. I appreciate our friendship and understanding each other in that. And now I'm second guessing if that was totally genuine or if she's just been buttering me up for the name bomb she was about to drop on me. LOL. In the end, I obviously never said anything to her. It would be crazy to do that. So I even threw in, I can't wait to get a pic of Jordan and Jordy holding hands someday. When I texted her after she was home from the hospital and the sting of the name had blown over for me. I know in the future that none of this will matter and that all that truly does matter is that they have a beautiful, healthy little girl. But in this moment, how triggered can I be? Love, and I suppose imitation is the best form of flattery, Betch.
I hate to be this person, but she's acting kind of insane.
I know. She's a new listener. We love you. Stay. Don't go.
Stay. You came here for our opinion. You're being crazy. It's a different name, first of all. It's a totally different name. You're not like absolute best friends. You're friends. And I think she likes the name enough that she doesn't, rightfully so, doesn't care that your kid has the more formal version of this name. It's a different name.
It's a completely different name that you'll be calling out a similar version of a name that you said, admittedly, you don't even call your son that name 99% of the time. So you're not going to be using the same name. I don't know what this really is about.
She's saying the name bomb she was about to drop on me.
And the fact that I do not think that she was buttering you up.
Yes.
That she
That's
had a
crazy.
grand plan to butter you up because she wants to, for the next 100 years, have this child walk the earth with this name. I mean, in another 18 years, this child could move to, Taiwan and just be walking around the earth living this name, and they're not going to pick it because your child has a name that's similar but not even exactly the same. I think is off track, off base.
I mean, we get a lot of these. What do you think is the only reason the only relationship where you could not name the baby the same exact name as the other person?
Yeah, maybe your best friend, certainly your family, anyone in your family.
If it's right. And even those, I think if you really wanted to, you could talk to them.
Yeah, talk to them and even say, you know what?
You would owe them a conversation.
I love the name. Or I was thinking about that name before you named that name. And I again, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. I really love it. I've had my heart set on that. I know you picked it first, but I don't think anyone can call a name. You didn't invent that name. I could see if the name was a name that you completely invented that had never existed before in the history of names.
Yeah. And no one said anything to you about using the name. That would be weird.
Maybe. But if the name is Jordy or Jordan, you didn't create that name. That name has been used hundreds of thousands of times. So you don't own that name because you picked it first.
I agree. I don't think she's thinking about you in this moment. I don't think she's buttering you up. I don't think she gives a shit. You guys also didn't used to like each other. So I don't think she's doing this as a master revenge plan of the name bomb that she dropped on you. It's a different name. One, I think it's maybe the fact that the sister-in-law spoke to her on the phone and made her put it in her head that she should be offended, made her more offended.
Right.
This isn't offensive.
Yeah. The fact that she was are you sure you want to know? The name is different. I don't even know if I would have said it like that. It sounds like the sister-in-law kind of knows her and knew that she was going to.
And it's so ironic that she thinks the friend is being nice to her so that she can take this name when she's being completely fake with this person. I can't wait to get a picture of Jordan and Jordy holding hands someday. Why are you even doing this? If you there's clearly something weird about this friendship where you guys are kind of it seems like you're full of shit. And so you think she's full of shit too. I don't think you're over this early rivalry.
Yeah, there's some underlying thing, but there is a thing with the names. It's you don't own it just because you picked it first. If you have a baby a year before, it doesn't mean anyone that's in your not immediate circle, but wider circle. Imagine how many people, if this person is in this circle, how many people would be in the circle of people that cannot then use this name? It's not really fair to call dibs on a name. I don't think it is. It's,
I agree. I think you can still do it. I might give her a text, be just so you know, we love the name so much, but not even asking, just saying, maybe it was inspired by her, or we also love that name, something, right? Whatever.
Acknowledge it. Say, hey, we love that name. We've been planning to use it for a couple of years. Just letting you know, we're going to use it, or we were inspired and brought it to mind. Whatever it is, I don't think anyone owns a name, even if it is your best friend. You don't. There's no copyrights on names.
The idea that anyone in my life, no matter how close, would have a son and name them Charles. And that I would be can you believe?
Right.
This is the exact same scenario that I would be out of all the names, the million names, this is the bomb they dropped by naming their son Charles, which is again a different name than Charlie. Yeah. Or different for a different
Maddie,
gender.
I told you, Maddie really wanted the name. Maddie was a little upset.
She could still use it. She could still use it if she wants.
I mean, that is immediate family. So that's a little bit different. Immediate family.
It'd be weirder if you named your kid that after this, but I think if she they're not going to be the same age. I hope she's not
25 years or something.
I hope she's not having a kid that soon. She's 12.
Right. Right. If in 20 years Yeah.
They're going to be totally different ages. If she wanted to do it, I wouldn't say anything to her. But it would be nice. But if she really wanted to use it and I think she could probably text me just to let me know. That'd be nice.
Right. But if she used Charles,
she doesn't need to say anything to me. It's a different name. It's a different gender and a different name. I think it would be crazy for me to be upset if someone anyone I knew used the name Charles.
Yep. Well, there you go. That is the comparison. That's like
it really is. Yeah. It's crazy.
We love you though. Don't go anywhere. There is a thing. It's like we talk about all the time, the delusion of specialness. I think it's cute. You got to know, like, it's a name. You liked it. You thought it was on the unique side. I'll tell you, once you get to kindergarten or preschool, whatever name you thought was so unique, there's going to be other kids with that name.
It's not.
It's not that unique. It's going to be all over the place unless you pick something like Pumpernickel Loaf. There's going to be other kids that have the name.
You know, it is weird. Sometimes, like, I think having recently just named children, when I see someone else with the names that I picked, there is a little sense of like, when you see it, there's a little sense of like, oh, I'm not that special. Okay.
Yes. You're not that special.
Okay.
You picked
and
a
it's like,
cute
okay.
name,
Yeah.
and it's probably more unique than other names. Than like if you Googled what are the top 10 girl names in the US today, don't pick one of those if you want to be special. But other than that, look at the list of the top 100 names. Try not to pick one of those if you can, if you want to be special. But other than that, you're probably going to meet some other people that are going to have a name unless it's something totally wacky.
Get over it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'd give this like a 1.
Yeah, I kind of want to give it I'll give it a 2, but
one and a half.
1.5.
1.5. Sorry. Well, thanks for writing in though. Someone had to tell you.
Yeah, someone had to tell you. I know you're upset. But this is a good thing, I think, for her to just get used to. I have this all the time with my kids from day to night. It's May. I'll end with this. I know we have to wrap up, but it's May. It's like award season at school, right? So like they're giving out awards for this, and they give them awards for their grades, and they give them awards for their special things. And, then you just look around and like you think, oh my God, my kid's special. They got A honor roll, or they got this masterful this award, or they got the special that award. And like everyone's kids are getting awards for all these different things. Like it's great. I want all the kids in the world to feel special, but like when everyone's special,
no one's special.
And it's okay. It's okay. We're all just kind little humans trying to live on this rock that's flying through the universe at insane speeds. And, it's okay. We all just noticing that urge to want to be special, and then breathing into it and saying, it's okay. It's okay to just be here.
Be average.
And averagely live a really meaningful life. It's okay. And notice that urge that we want to try to be special. And, it doesn't need to be special in name. It could be special in the way that you live this moment and treat that person. And it doesn't need to be, because my kid's the smartest kid in the school, or, my daughter's the best musician in the grade. It's, there's always going to be someone better. There's going to be a better musician. There's going to be a kid with better grades. There's going to be someone with your kid's name. There's going to be someone who's better at basketball, or a kid with a cuter, there's going to be other twiblings.
No, I actually am special.
Oh, okay. That's our time.
This is for everyone else. I'm actually quite special. All right. That's our time. Great work today. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.